Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Thank you for tuning in. Today we'll be focusing on Facebook, Libra, Calibra, and Facebook. There's this article here, and the first, starting off with the US Senate Banking Committee and the US House Financial Services Committee discussing Facebook's Libra. Now there's the video here on the official website. It goes for about 2.5 hours. I recommend watching at least part of this. In the interests of brevity, we've got this daily hodl piece. Going down the article here, summarizing some key points. Since Facebook announced Libra last month, generated a lot of news in the space. It says here that hype only escalated this past week when the two committees involved in the hearings on Libra, and they were hearing from Calibra CEO David Marcus and an expert panel, which involved Congress Representative Maxine Waters and Senator Sherrod Brown, who have been two critics of the Libra cryptocurrency. So SFOX has distilled the 10 takeaways you need to know from those hearings, and I'll point out some of the most relevant points here in my opinion. Congress gets the difference between Libra and cryptocurrencies. There's a quote here from one of the expert witnesses and CoinShares CSO Meltem Demirors, claiming that Libra is not really a cryptocurrency. I do quote, "What Facebook is attempting to do is not to create a new payment system. What they're attempting to do is to pass off this idea as a cryptocurrency, which it is not. They're attempting to use regulatory cover to get away with doing something that would typically be regulated, which is asset management. It's fundamentally different from Bitcoin," end quote. Congress appears to be more interested in the future of Facebook as a financial services entity rather than Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. This also draws attention to this notion of Facebook being too big to fail, in air quotes, and it ties in with some of the concerns in relation to the 2008 financial crisis. Again, this is just a quick summary just for brevity. Okay, going down here, discussion about Bitcoin is on the back burner for now. Libra appears to be dominating the conversation. It says here, Facebook isn't waiting for regulatory clarity. So Congress repeatedly asked Calibra CEO David Marcus whether he would commit to halting development on the project until Congress passed legislation relating to the project. Marcus would not make such a commitment, instead reiterating his commitment to not launching Libra until the proper legal framework was in place. As it appears as though it were based on his behavior that Facebook does not seem keen to wait any longer to develop Project Libra. Goes down the list talking about the idea of a crypto arms race, and a great summary by the Daily Hodl. I recommend reading that. Blockonomy discusses this in further detail as well. I do want to point out, and this was something mentioned in the video, so it was from Senator Sherrod Brown. If we go onto the Facebook Libra website here, the Libra Association page, I should say, scrolling down the list, to quickly summarize, it talks about the various roles that Libra will play and some of the apparent benefits with the Libra stablecoin, so on and so forth. With these founding members or those part of the Libra Association, each running a node, there'll be 100 nodes available. Senator Brown pointed out, and actually I'll give you a quick summary for those not looking at the screen. So we've got major companies here. We've got Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, eBay, Uber, Spotify, Vodafone, Coinbase, and Zappo are two blockchain reps. We have some VC firms there, Andreessen Horowitz, and going down to the non-profit and other organizations there. So we have Kiva and Mercy Corp, various groups involved in Libra. So Senator Brown is saying that Facebook has by far and large the most amount of data, approximately 2 billion users registered with Facebook over the years. He's saying that despite them only running one node and having this independent group, or the Libra Association, they have a lot of influence based on all of the data that they've gathered. So it could be misleading to say that their influence is only restricted to the one node there. Another thing to bear in mind as well, that Calibra is a subsidiary of Facebook. So whilst Libra is run by various companies as each having one node, Calibra, which will be running the Libra stablecoin wallet. If I jump over to this article here from the official Facebook newsroom page, it talks about Calibra. To promote the use of Libra and the proliferation of Calibra, the wallet will be integrated into Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and then as its own designated app, which will be expected to launch next year in 2020. Now, just to quickly summarize, they're arguing that Libra is poised to be one of these stablecoins backed by fiat, various fiat currencies, to be used for global remittances and to reach out to many of those who don't have access to conventional banking and finance. Whilst these are important points, there is still the ongoing concern about privacy, any privacy leaks, Despite reassurance from Facebook, there have been controversies in the past. Cambridge Analytica and bots and the alleged involvement in the last presidential election. That's another topic for discussion there. But just pointing out some of the concerns and the shortcomings raised. That's most of the relevant information on the topic. I know some people are probably getting a bit bored hearing about this all the time, but it is important to ensure that we have the clarity about the restrictions involved in the use of Calibra, something that hasn't really been discussed enough, especially outside of the cryptocurrency realm, about the impact on existing cryptocurrencies. Some arguing positive and many others, and many arguing negative impacts on the incumbent cryptos, so to speak. What are your thoughts on all of this? But let's move on to something else. This next article here from CCN discusses why Facebook decided not to build on top of the Ethereum network or blockchain and instead decided to build their own Libra blockchain network there. Well, in a nutshell, it comes down to improved scaling, much faster transactions, and to then be able to reverse, say, dud transactions, anything problematic like that. That's why they've decided to opt for that. And this ties in with the idea of permissioned and permissionless networks. So at the moment, it's not permissionless like Bitcoin, where you can get anyone who can run a node, be able to operate the software or the hardware on the system, and then conduct transactions, so on and so forth, without permission, as opposed to Facebook Libra. There's that article there about Ethereum, and then there was this article last year about Vitalik Buterin saying that he believes that Ethereum will eventually achieve 1 million transactions per second. When that will happen, who knows? We've all been waiting for Casper, sharding, Plasma, which once fully implemented will help improve scalability and speeds on the Ethereum network. Some other news and something positive here. It says France's Autorité des Marchés Financiers, pardon my pronunciation, gives green signal for ICOs. This follows a move by Malta and Belarus, who have welcomed and legalized ICOs in their countries. So it looks like that France will be jumping on board as well, exploring the realms of ICO and other related services in the country. Going down the article, according to Anne Maréchal, Executive Director for Legal Affairs at Autorité des Marchés, we are in talks with 3 or 4 candidates for initial coin offerings, and exchanges are also discussing with several other cryptocurrency exchange platforms, custodian and fund managers, end quote. And here's information from the Assemblée Nationale website. This is in French, but if I type in cryptographics, so there's a few points there about crypto. If I go into the English version of the website and I type in ICOs, it comes up with information from last November and then 2017. And there, I'd keep an eye on that. France having a vast amount of influence, especially in Europe. So going across the border from France, we're on to Switzerland. I found this interesting piece from the Financial Times here. It's a short video about why Switzerland is so keen on cryptocurrencies, because we saw earlier Facebook Libra is based in Switzerland, and we have various other companies in the cryptocurrency space that are also based in Switzerland. Short video for you to check out there. Just to wrap up some of the recent news, Vitalik Buterin proposed this idea of using Bitcoin Cash as an Ethereum data layer just because of the issue with scalability and speeds. This is considered a step in the wrong direction by some because kind of showing weakness and major issues in the ecosystem. This is the case with a possible new Ethereum scalability solution suggested by Vitalik Buterin, Ethereum's co-founder. The solution would help increase the network's scalability by offloading much of its usage. While this sounds like a solid idea in theory, Vitalik, is actually suggesting is using the Bitcoin Cash BCH blockchain as Ethereum's data layer. I think there's a neat nickname for Vitalik there. Anyway, there was the announcement, and I've made a video previously about Ethereum 2.0. I'll provide a link to that as well in the corner. Now, time is ticking in terms of, I see it as like a bit of a race between the cryptocurrencies, especially when it comes to, you have Ethereum, EOS, and Tron in their involvement in dApps, smart contracts, trying to compete with each other. And then you've got Cardano on their tail as well. There should be a real impetus to try and carry out these highly anticipated upgrades on the Ethereum network. And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have your thoughts to share, whether positive or negative, more than welcome to leave it in the comments section. Subscribe if you would like to stay up to date with my latest content, and don't forget to smash the bell icon as well. Share this with anyone who you believe will benefit from this information. Thanks again, and I will speak to you soon. Take it easy.